paradigms, to leap over cultural beliefs and personal beliefs, because that's the nature of breakthrough.
Hello friends, Lisa Anamkara here for Anamkara Astrology. Today is October 25th. We have had a solar eclipse at 2 degrees of Scorpio. Welcome front and center to Scorpio season. Welcome front and center to eclipse season. Welcome front and center to Saturn having newly turned direct in the sign of Aquarius, and Mars about to move retrograde in Gemini on October 30th, so 5 days away. If you want to know how an eclipse is going to affect you personally, go ahead, reach out to your favorite astrologer. It could be me, it could be someone else. Reach out to us via our multiple avenues of contact and reach out and get a personalized reading from your astrologer so you know how it's going to affect you. You don't have to guess. You don't have to wonder if you're using the right house system, or if the astrologer that's giving the interpretation is going to be speaking directly to you. I know that when I listen to people, astrologers or whatever, who give a general breakdown of where this eclipse will be taking place, well, I have an interception in my chart, which means that it doesn't necessarily compute. So most of the time when people are doing whole sign astrology, they're using equal houses. My ascendant is in Sagittarius, but this new moon solar eclipse is not taking place in the house that it would be taking place in if I didn't have an interception. It is taking place in my 11th house, which is ruled by Scorpio, and it has my Pluto in it. And this is a south node eclipse. The eclipses happen in 2s and 3s, and the effects of them really last for 6 months, sometimes up to a year. And so we have a much larger theme of what it is that we are planting. This smaller moon cycle, that takes roughly 28 days, is a reflection of a larger cycle that is happening. And this one is happening in the sign of Scorpio, where our south node is. Our south node describes where we have been before, and that which keeps us anchored in the comfort of the known. It is what keeps us bound to our usual bag of tricks. And when it's in the sign of Scorpio, it roots us to shadow, roots us to the underworld and that which has control over us, because we give it power even if we can't see it, even if we can't touch it, taste it, hear it, hold it. And so this new moon, this eclipse on our south node, or in the sign of the south node, and this eclipse is about planting the seeds of regeneration by eliminating. Scorpio is so about eliminating that which anchors us to our fears, to our control issues, that which blocks us in terms of intense, intimate experience, relation, opportunity, and thus gets in the way of bringing fully to fruition that which is Scorpio's opposite, which is Taurus, which is the fixed Venusian principle. It is earth and earthly materials and values and experience that are indisputable because they're tangible and they can be experienced and honored and processed through the 5 physical senses. So this new moon is really about letting go And it is about eliminating that which has anchored us to processes, people, relationships, ideas, work, habits, rituals, beliefs, illusions, delusions, sexual frustrations, sexual proclivities. It's getting us to detach and remove and let go of that which keeps us in the dark and out of experiencing all the best that life has to offer, all the luxury that life has to offer, even the experience of life as a luxury in and of itself. Not everyone gets this experience. Not every soul gets to experience life. This is a major time. Where the eclipse is taking place is going to have a lot to do with what it is that we are able to grow for ourselves when we have, a new moon in Taurus and we have a full moon in Scorpio. That which we allow ourselves to let go of and allow to regenerate now will be what the growth and the fruit of our labor, of our detachment, of our willingness to surrender will then produce in the opposite house. For the new moon in Taurus in May will be, first off, we need to be very exact as to what and where, what house this is really taking place in, what it's activating. You want to know astrology, you want to know the purpose of astrology, you want to know the usefulness of astrology. Astrology is a great way to get very objective about things that otherwise you might be having a subjective, intuitive response to, and it makes you feel powerless, or it makes you feel like the world is against you, as opposed to understanding that, life is life. Life doesn't have an opinion about you. Life is its own cycle. And you have a perception of life, okay? That's your ascendant. You have a purpose in life. You have what you bring to life, okay? Through you, that's your sun. You have what you expect and need on an emotional, subjective level in your life. That is your moon. You have how you communicate in life, how you think and process information. That is your Mercury. You have that which you value. That is your Venus. You have that how you take action in life. That's your Mars. You have your Jupiter. That's how you expand. That's how you broaden, yourself, your experience, your knowledge. That's how you broaden life. So yes, astrology works in polarities, okay? The signs work in polarities. They have planets, ruling planets. Those planets have different conversations with each other. They all work at different times and cycles. And how you understand that which you come with and that which you anticipate to experience and that which you feel you need to experience in order to evolve, in order to make right something that happened in the past, whatever it is. And this is a time to not go against your purpose. It is not a time to go against anything that you know to be real, to be valuable, to be inspiring, to, be foundational to you are now and what it is that you want to be. This is not the time to go against it. It is the time to remove everything that you have kept in your life that inhibits your progress towards that. That is what this new moon, this solar eclipse in 2 degrees of Scorpio, on 2 degrees of Scorpio, that is what the fuck is happening. And that where that degree of Scorpio falls on your natal chart is telling you the place where you are going to be letting go and transforming, okay? You are going to surrender that which you can no longer control, that you no longer wish to have in your life, or that thinking that you can control by keeping it in your life, you're going to get rid of it. And magically, that sphere, that area of life experience is going to transform. It is going to go back into the ground, and it is going to regenerate as something else. This is get real time, guys. Get real by getting deep. And if you're someone who really needs to process things on a deep level, I have my sun, my moon, my Mercury, it's all in the 8th house. I have Scorpio and Pluto in the 11th house. I have a lot of, I have, you know, my Mars in Capricorn retrograde. I do not mean to offend anyone who is looking for the nuts and bolts of astrology. I am not here to demean or, you know, ruin or piss on the work of the astrologers that are giving you the nuts and bolts, and they will keep repeating, you know, the sun means this, the, you know, moon means that, ... Someone's got to do it. And I really rather be talking about, you know, your individual chart and how interceptions in the chart can, you know, it's really like, to me, in my experience, both with my own chart as well as clients' charts, as well as like other people's, you know, charts and stuff like that, famous people, and just, you know, other data that is available, I see, you know, the interceptions as like a sign of like like neural divergent, you know, and the more you understand, the deeper you get into the nuts and bolts of it, the quicker that you get to pick up on where the difference between, you know, the linear, the prescribed, you know, the standard expected, you know, experience, where that, you know, trajectory and your actuality diverge, so that you aren't sitting here wondering why you feel dumb because you're a fucking fish who can't climb a tree. It's just like, it's similar to a car, you know, like when you're doing diagnostics on a car, you know, it's not turning on, right? Can you turn the ignition? I can, but it's not turning over. Okay, well, but when you turn it on to, you know, the pre-ignition part, is it turning, you know, this kind of auxiliary phase? Are your lights on? You know, is the electrical system happening? I need to know, is it an electrical issue? Is it a fuel issue? Is it a fuel pump issue, which is a distribution issue, you know? So we have, there's just all these different places, and the deeper into the nuances, you know, the more you can identify the parts, understand their function, understand how they work together, and what happens when something is, you know, one thing is moving in a different direction or at a different rate than what is expected, and how that then affects the whole. This is the same thing with the body. This is the same thing with everything, essentially, but we live in a world that just wants to identify the one thing and give you a pill or give you a prescription to just fix that one thing, and does not ever consider whether that one thing acting differently from the other 100 people, 100,000 people, past 100 years of, you know, people that have been or processing differently or moving in a different direction is a bad thing, or if it is an evolutionary phenomenon. I am a karmic astrologer that started to practice or integrate evolutionary astrology into my practice because I felt and I saw the value in it, and how it was not something where I needed to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I saw evolutionary astrology as a natural evolution from the karma and the karmic school of thought to, evolutionary astrology. What a wondrous thing. I'm so thankful that these people have been studying and analyzing this data of the cycles of the stars, I mean, and the planets, and our, you know, all these bodies, asteroids, everything in the solar system, with the lens of life is not static and nothing happens in a vacuum. So let's evolve past this kind of consciousness trap or black hole that karma is the end all be all of all things. That even karma and karma consciousness is something that had a place and a purpose, and then is something that is naturally evolved past. Because karma is integrated, because karma is divided up and transmuted or paid, or, you know, light body phenomenon, you know, us just dissolving and just, you know, just whoo, like, you know, just discorporating into light. Wouldn't that be a trip? That would be wild. Okay. I thank you, and I'm feeling better about, you know, doing this video, having done this video, and really expressing my real, you know, feeling and thoughts on not just astrology, but this new moon and everything that goes along with it. So I will see you soon.
Cannot convert belief into knowledge.